Hello, it is Wednesday, October 19th at 9:43 a.m. Eastern Time, USA. This is my video journal. I'm Mitch Miller. Reporting on a morning this time because I started working the evening shift at work. Not thrilled to be leaving at 8 o'clock at night in the dark, but it's going to be dark at 5 o'clock here soon. As you can see, I'm wearing my robe. It's a cold day today. I am systematically challenging the United States military to a pistol duel or wrestling match. So let's start with that. If you have attained the rank of Sergeant Major of the Army in the United States military, or its equivalent in any other branch in the United States military, I challenge you to a duel using non-lethal paintball pistols. Since we do not have these prototypes, we'll revert to a wrestling match using scholastic rules. If you win this duel, you will delay me challenging the next rank down in the military by 6 months. You will also receive a piece of my photography, paint, or film art valued at millions of dollars. If you lose the duel, you must find money in your budget to fund my smart weapons company. If you cannot get approval of that budget, you must use your own personal monies to fund the company. In return, you will receive a stock certificate giving you partial ownership in this company and or a piece of my film or a piece of my digital or physical art valued at millions of dollars. That's all I have to offer at this time. If you ignore or do not accept this challenge, you are first and foremost a coward. And secondly, the death and blood of any military action around the globe is on your hands for not validating and justifying this form of modern warfare, a form of warfare that values hand-to-hand combat skills and marksmanship rather than hiding behind a control panel and pushing a button to kill. That's the type of warfare we have today. We isolate all the military forces. They don't have to look each other in the eye and fight each other. They're isolated, they gather intelligence, and they decide whether to execute someone by pushing a button. They kill. It's legalized murder. It's not war. It's not military action. It's legalized murder. You used to have to convince a person to jump out of a foxhole, jump over barbed wire, and run across a couple 100-yard no man's land into another foxhole and go hand-to-hand combat with someone. That's how impassioned, that's how much someone had to believe in the cause that they were fighting for in order to have military action. Now it's just I think that person's a terrorist, so I'm going to push a button and kill them, basically. I mean, it's a little bit more complex, but that's what we have. It's cowardice, and it needs to stop. Disputes can be resolved in a formal person-to-person exchange, and then we don't have to convince armies to take up arms to fight proxy wars to decide who was right all along. Anyhow, That's not what I'm here to talk about today. Here to talk about governments passing secret laws and making little to no effort to inform the public of what is legal and what is illegal. And I forget the date, but a few weeks ago before I left for Florida, I think it was the Thursday before I left for Florida, I had a conversation with my friend Heath Leff. He's a public defender downtown here in Pittsburgh. He's not my lawyer, so this was not attorney-client privilege. It's a 15-minute phone conversation. I suggest if you have a wiretap on my Apple phone or on his phone, whatever brand that may be, that you lift that 15-minute phone conversation and you deliver it to every standing lawmaker or former lawmaker in the United States and everywhere else. It is a perfect phone conversation between a layman and a lawyer. The layman, me, I'm trying to see if his friends at the public defender's office will teach a crash course, 20-minute segments that I can video on what is legal and what is illegal, specifically what is illegal in the United States, or at least in the state of Pennsylvania in the United States. It'd be simple, matter of fact based. This is murder, murder 1, blah blah blah, murder 2, this is that, murder 3, so on and so forth. This is assault. This is armed robbery, so on and so forth. It'd be several hours. I'm thinking 5 to 10 hours of video to have the basics, and I figured the public defenders see what most people get caught up on a daily basis in our legal system. As I said to Heath Leff, I don't think you should have to go to grad school and get a law degree to know what is illegal and what is legal in the United States, and the government makes no effort. So my idea was to say I spent $2,500 on film equipment. The public defenders volunteered their time, and so it cost me about $2,500 to make a video series that you should have made and distributed, at least through a public channel, through the city channel, through the county channel, through C-SPAN 20 years ago when video technology came about. And it became cheap to make this stuff. You should have actually did it on film 100 years ago, but we'll give you the benefit of the doubt as a cost prohibitive, whatever, you know. Now sure, the government publishes all their laws in thick books, and it takes a long time reading. And that's my argument for why the internet should be free, because we should be able to read all laws for free. We shouldn't have to pay for home internet to sit in the comfort of our own home and read the law and know what is legal and what is illegal. Anyhow, for those that can't read, a simple video series would suffice, and I want to make that video series, and that is, I think you should hire me to make that video series. I think you should grant amnesty to whatever law firm I find that will help me make the video series, and I'm going to write to lawmakers about that when I get an estimate as to what a law firm will charge me to make this video series. Now it's going to be difficult because lawyers don't want to, it's job security for people not to know what the law is, then they have to hire a lawyer. So it's a flawed system, which is probably why lawmakers, out of job security for their fellow lawyers, do not make an effort to inform the public. Now sure, there's videos on YouTube, as Heath was pulling up, that talk about the law, but it's not an organized, concise video series that can be sold or given for free to, say, hotel chains and other sources where travelers coming in from out of town, out of state, need to know the laws. And this is becoming even more important with different legalization of marijuana laws, so on and so forth. So That's my idea. That's what I want to do. I'd rather do that for free. I would volunteer my time. I would rather do that this winter than go into pornography, but I am going to go into pornography because that's where the money is. And if I can talk to service workers and convince them to get on board with my program, then I will shoot photography, still photography of pornographic images. Now you may say that would disqualify me from being president, but we had President Trump who hired sex workers to sleep with. And I'm going to work with sex workers to empower them and to get them more income from their exploitation of their bodies. And I don't intend to sleep with any of them. So that's where we're at with that. And we're going to work to try to stop sex trafficking, human trafficking, things like that through a network of photographers. So I'll close with my Twitter idea. As you may know, I have been posting all my receipts, all my expenditures. I use a lot of cash because that's how my Social Security check comes, is in cash. So I just write I've spent $5 on coffee. Been trying to log all my expenditures using Twitter. Then I can go back and see what I spent in the year. You can see what a journalist costs, what it costs me to live for a year. Obviously, with the partnership of my wife, she pays for a lot of things. But what I spend out of my income, you'll be able to see on Twitter. My idea is for a social media platform like Twitter where you can post pictures of receipts, but it's almost like a watchdog service where you connect your bank accounts, and we, instead of the government having access to your bank accounts, we, a private social media type company, have access to your bank accounts, and we verify every purchase you make, except credit card purchases. We just verify a payment of about $200 has been made to your credit card through your bank account. So if you want to hide your individual purchases, you can still use a credit card. But we log exactly how much of your income goes into hardened purchases. And the idea of this is you shouldn't be able to tax people on their income, only what they spend per year. You can only tax their income on what they spent per year. And I think that's kind of like the standard deduction, things like that. That's kind of the thought process behind that. But this would be cold hard data, fact-based data, that only what you spend per year is what should be taxed. Everything else is retirement income. Even if you carry $5,000 of your income over to the next year, you're carrying that on to retirement, or you're going to spend it in the next year, and as long as we're tracking those expenditures, then that $5,000 will be taxed in the next year if you spend it all. So that's my idea, is that we can start this platform. I don't know when I'll start it because I've got a million other projects and platforms I want to start, which I think are genius, but nobody wants to fund. That's why I'm going into porn. We start this platform, and then we can stand up to the government and say, you're only going to tax us on what we spend per year. We have the watchdog company. I signed up all my bank accounts. If the IRS finds a bank account that I haven't signed up with this company with, then they can then pursue what they want to pursue against that bank account. But I legitimately signed up all my bank accounts, and this is what I spend per year, and that's all the more you're going to tax me on with the federal income tax. The rest of it is retirement income, and this is for people who want to save for retirement but don't want to have a 401k. They don't want to invest in the stock market, the corrupt, crazy stock market that invests in supercomputers, artificial intelligence, satellite systems, and all kinds of other stuff that we don't want to be involved in. Okay? We have the right to save for retirement the way we want to save for retirement. We shouldn't be prescribed the only way you can have untaxed income is if you join the federal government's 401k program, which props up a bunch of corrupt corporations. That's BS. All right, this is a program that stands up to the government and says that's not the only way you can save for retirement. And we shouldn't have to go through a bank and buy a CD or something like that, or a IRA for them to manage for us. Okay? We should be able to manage our own funds and have it untaxed if we just keep it, under our pillow or in a bank savings account or in a bank account, however we want to do it. So if you pull out cash, that would be taxed, but if you leave it in the connected bank accounts, then it would be untaxed, so that you can track it, basically. But that's my idea. That's why I'm doing the Twitter thing. I'm going to continue doing the Twitter thing to show you how much I spend. I don't get every transaction. I didn't include the $4 coffee yesterday, but some of that stuff I'm going to let slide. And it's a little bit of a mind thing, because you feel like you're being judged on every transaction you have, but somebody's got to do it so that these politicians and these journalists follow suit and put every expenditure they have. That's why I put my $100 meal on Friday up there, and that was help celebrate my wife's promotion. I don't spend $100 every Friday on meals, but I do spend about $100 to $150 every weekend on meals. $600 to $700 per month on meals. So you'll see that. That's what we're single, or we're married without children, so we go out and have nice meals on the weekends. She cooks during the week, covers the groceries, and I take care of meals, most of the meals, and take out on the weekends. That's our arrangement. Alright, thanks for watching. The NSA fried another computer I keep in the basement, plugged into my Magic Jack, and then I put these files on. It's fried, it won't start up, it won't run, so that's going to delay things, this video getting out to a wider audience. But I will buy a used computer to put down there eventually, maybe next week, so that I can have my Magic Jack connected and put these files up. Thanks for watching. Listen to that 15-minute phone conversation. I think it's a gem. Heath Leff, Mitch Miller. That package should be sent out to every lawmaker. Their time has come. They can't just arrest without informing the public. It should be illegal to run a government in that way, to just make laws and make no effort or little effort to inform them of what is legal and what is illegal. And you might say the evening news does it, but they just exploit stories about robbery and theft and murder and rape. They exploit those, and that's your justification, is that a profit-driven evening news program displays to the public what is illegal and what is legal. And that is not acceptable. You have to pay for those programs. It's not free. This would be a YouTube video series that's free to the public through my Disability TV. And if you'd like to hire me or lobby me to do it, I'm happy to do it for free. If you can provide, maybe lawmakers will do this crash course and be granted amnesty, because that was one concern Heath had, is that they might be liable if someone does break the law after watching this video series. That's why we need lawmakers to grant amnesty to anyone that is involved in this program. Alright, thanks for watching.